Welcome everyone, thank you for joining me today. This flow gets really deep into our hips and is awesome for the beginner as well as the more advanced or flexible yogi. So we'll go ahead and begin finding a comfortable seated position, bringing attention to posture, tuning into your body and your breath. Allowing your shoulders to drop far down along your spine, letting go of any tension you're holding on to in your upper body. In this flow, we will move a little bit slower, and the purpose of that is to really allow ourselves to breathe deeply into the muscles and connective tissues of our body. If you'd like to here, begin to find some motion side to side, and don't feel like you have to follow exactly what I'm doing here. Always taking modifications to suit your own body and your own needs for today's practice. As you wiggle out side to side, slowly lowering your chest down towards the floor, taking a bit of a forward fold, maintaining the motion side to side, and sitting yourself back up tall. Once you come up tall, finding length through the spine, and as you exhale, slowly lower yourself down once again. Moving through this motion as you continue the side-to-side sways, moving your body up and down, lowering chest to floor. Continuing here a few more times, moving with your own body and your own breath, doing what feels good to you, loosening up a little into the hips, finding length through the spine, finding movement through the shoulders. And next time you're down, go ahead and hold there, finding a bit of stillness as you stretch your arms out in front of you. Taking a deep breath in. Let it go. As you let it go, allowing yourself to sink a little further. Maybe you walk your hands out a little further away from you. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, letting go a little bit more, allowing yourself to round through your spine. Maybe your forehead drops down closer to the mat. Applying pressure from the palms into the ground. Go ahead and lift your chest a little here, walking the hands slightly on over to your left. And relaxing down. Inhaling, lifting the chest and bringing yourself on over to your right. Inhaling, lifting the chest, pressing into the floor. And returning to center as you let all that air go, sinking down a little bit closer to the mat. Inhale and lift a little. Exhale and fold a little. Lifting a little and folding. Just taking a moment here to really breathe into your hips, releasing that tension, allowing yourself to sink down towards the floor, allowing your body to just melt on over itself. Slowly rolling all the way up to seated, taking a big roll in the shoulders and exhale, letting all of that air, all of that tension go. And you'll go ahead and take the foot that is slightly in front, or if you're sitting crisscross, the one that's underneath, and bringing it just enough forward, keeping the other one in the same position. And you'll position the one in front as if you were to come completely straight down. Your forehead will come right about to your heel or the midline of your foot. So sitting up nice and tall first, finding that length through the spine. If it helps here, go ahead and reach your arms out in front to find that length. And as you exhale, go ahead and fold. Again, continuing to find length through the spine as much as you can. With every exhale, pulling your forehead a little bit closer towards the heel or your toe, whatever you want to aim for. And don't be too hard on yourself here. This is a huge stretch. So if you're finding a lot of tension sitting upright or even with a slight tilt forward, that's totally cool. Stay there. Don't feel like you have to push to a point of pain to get a stretch. That is not the goal at all. So if your hands can come to the floor, see if it feels all right to find some little wiggles left to right. Really working into the hip. Moving around those connective tissues, working deeply into the muscle. And finding some stillness here. Inhaling all the way up to seated tall, taking a big roll in the shoulders. And go ahead and take both hands either around the bottom of the foot or to the ankle. And taking the left hand to the inside of the left foot or grasping around the ankle. and a bit of a seated half happy baby, finding some movement here, drawing the knee out to the side to the body and open as if you're coming into a happy baby, and releasing to the front of the body. So go ahead and take a few more here. If you haven't done this motion before, it may feel a little funky, so as always, feel free to pause the video and practice on your own time. And go ahead and hold there, breathing deeply, finding length through the spine, pressing the chest forward. And exhale, releasing. We'll cross the left leg tightly over the right. And if you are unable to bring that left hip down firmly to the mat, go ahead and take an option where you're extending the right leg out long. That should allow you to bring the left hip down. If you do want a little bit more advanced of a stretch though, feel free to bend the bottom leg. Taking your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, finding a twist. Pulling belly button into spine, lengthening out, and initiating the twist from the navel. Always finding length before you twist. Gently returning to center. Holding here a little bit, hugging that knee in tightly. And if that bottom leg was bent, go ahead and extend it. Level 1 here is to rest the outside of the left ankle on the top of the right thigh. Level 2, taking the hands to the outside of the shin. And level 3, tucking the left foot into the crease of the right elbow. And if you're here, really making sure that you're pressing that leg out away from you as opposed to holding it into your body. So your arms are holding the leg in, but you're actively pressing that knee and that foot into your hands. This will get a lot deeper into the hip and be a lot more effective of a stretch. Go ahead and find some stillness here if you were taking those wiggles. And releasing the foot, pulling the knee tightly into the body. And extending the leg long for a hamstring stretch. Don't feel like you have to straighten the knee completely as I'm doing here. Totally cool to have a micro bend or a larger bend in the knee. So holding the leg with the opposite hand and moving it left and right, finding your range of motion here. So these next sets of movements are totally optional. Feel free to stay and take the hamstring stretch without movement. However, if you do want a bit of a challenge and your hips are a little more open, you can try what I'm showing here. Pulling the arm up and around the head and the hip opens to the outside. Totally natural for that left hip to lift a little. Again, feel free to pause the video and practice on your own time. And go ahead and release that leg long, reaching the arms up tall, and exhale, folding over the left leg for a deeper hamstring stretch. Inhaling for a halfway lift. And reaching the right arm all the way up and over, spinning the chest open towards the ceiling. Exhale and closing back off, folding over. We'll take a few more of those. So inhale, lifting up. And exhale, rounding forward. Inhale, lifting up, opening through the side body. And exhale, rounding forward. Holding here. Deep breath in. And let it go as you roll up, seated nice and tall. Big roll in the shoulders. And go ahead and come back to an easy seated position. This time, switching which leg's on top. So more of your unnatural seated position with your legs crossed. But we'll go ahead and begin on the other side. Finding some slight movements left to right. And beginning to take those movements down towards the mat and up tall to seated. Just as we did on the other side, leaning forward and back, continuing the swaying if that feels good. And next time you're down, go ahead and hold there, taking a deep breath in and exhaling, allowing yourself to fold forward, really sinking down, melting into the stretch. Gently walking the hands on over to the right side. And to the left. Go ahead and bring yourself back to center as you take a deep breath in and exhale, folding forward. Gently rolling yourself all the way back up to seated, taking a big roll in the shoulders, Releasing that bottom leg and bringing it slightly in front of you. Again, lining up your heel with your forehead if you were to come straight down with a flat back. Setting yourself up here, taking a deep breath in. And as you exhale, finding your way a little bit forward. Maybe your hands meet the mat. Maybe you stay seated upright, whatever is suiting your body and your practice. Really tuning in to yourself here. If it feels good to take some little wiggles left to right, that's an option. Allowing yourself to breathe deeply, releasing the tension in your hip. Trying to let go of any gripping you may have in the muscles. If you're finding it incredibly hard to stay in the stretch, I suggest you release completely, take a deep breath in, out, and then press back into it. Moving slowly, never press past the good feeling point in a stretch. Shouldn't be painful. And if you're finding wiggles, go ahead and find stillness now. And sitting all the way up tall, hugging that knee in. And taking your right hand to the inside of your foot or to the ankle. Finding that half happy baby. Pulling that knee out to the side and more in front of your body. Just little movement, seeing how much length you can maintain through your spine as you move here. And holding open right here, applying a lot of pressure with the hand. And taking the right leg across the left. On the side, I'll go ahead and show the option with the extended bottom leg. Pulling the knee in closely, finding length. And taking the left elbow to the outside of the knee, finding your twist. Again, lengthening through the spine and then twisting. Releasing back towards center, hugging the knee in tightly. And opening the right knee up out to the right. Again, finding your edge in this pose here. So I recommend taking whatever variation you took on the other side. Again, pressing the knee away from you instead of hugging it into your body. Lifting out through the crown of your head. If it feels good to rock a little side to side, do that. and finding stillness. Go ahead and release that leg, hugging it tightly into the body and extending for a hamstring stretch, bringing the the left hand to the right foot. And moving left to right, maybe taking those exercises, opening up through the chest and rounding. If this may feel incredibly awkward at first, and that's totally normal, feel free to pause the video and work on them a little more. Otherwise, extending that leg long in front of you and taking a hamstring stretch. Your next inhale, lifting a little, placing the weight into your right hand or elbow and spinning the chest open up towards the ceiling. Exhale and folding over forward. Opening up, big stretch through the side body and rounding forward. Opening up. And rounding. This time, let's hold there, taking a deep breath in and let it go, slowly rolling all the way up, big roll in the shoulders, and we'll go ahead and open the legs wide into a straddle. Beginning to find some little movements, some sways out left to right. And using your legs to guide you here side to side, making those sways bigger and bigger, making the motion bigger and bigger. Feel free to close your eyes here, finding a little more of a bend through your side body. Maybe you hold, pause a second or two at each side. Next time you're on one side, go ahead and extend the arm out over, and same on the other. Moving at your own pace. Don't feel like you have to move as fast as I am, or by all means, move faster. Go on and take one more and find yourself at the center. Big breath in, reaching the hands up over the head. Exhale down to heart center. One more, reaching up tall. Deep breath in, sipping in a little more air. And hands meet at heart center, bringing your hands behind you, pressing slightly forward and rounding slightly back. So as you press forward, pressing your hips, tilting your tailbone back behind you. And as you exhale, rounding, pressing forward. And rounding, pulling your belly button into spine. Go ahead and continue these rocks forward and back. Always modifying to suit your own body. If your body is not flexible at this moment to lean as far forward as I am, don't be discouraged. Just take your hands a little further behind you, that's all. So if you're feeling good with your hands slightly in front of you, find some smaller sways as you begin to walk yourself deeper into your straddle. Beginning to find a bit of a cat-cow in the straddle here, taking those same pelvic twists as we were when we were seated, just now it's going much deeper into the hips. So if this is not available to you at the moment, take the same variation we were doing seated upright, rounding and arching, rounding and arching. Go ahead and find stillness wherever the edge of the stretch is for you. If you are able to bring your chin close towards the floor, go ahead and tilt your head on over to the right. And switching it to the left. Finding your way back towards center and slowly pressing out of the stretch. Walking your hands behind you. Shaking out your body, shaking out your legs a little. Bringing hands to heart center and seated up tall. And dropping hands behind you, bringing the feet together again, lining up as if your forehead were to come straight down to your heels or the midlines of your feet. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, allowing yourself to fold forward, noticing the difference in your hip flexibility versus how you felt at the beginning of this flow. So as we're stretching in this position, I will continue to offer some variations for those who would like to follow along. Otherwise, feel free to continue stretching this exact variation. Option 1 is to take the right foot and place it right on top of the left and folding over here a little longer. If you are working towards legs behind head, that is an option if you know how to practice that. And if you took the right foot on top, go ahead and replace it, taking the left foot on top. Gently releasing, bringing the feet right next to each other and exhaling, taking a little fold forward, releasing the legs, pulling the knees up towards your body, your feet out towards the edges of the mat, pressing your chest forward and rounding back. Inhale forward and rounding back. Pulling knees into chest, hugging yourself tightly for this beautiful practice. Again, thank you all so much for joining me. If you have any suggestions for new videos or comments, feedback from me, I really appreciate it. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Namaste.